You want to brave these waters in a dinghy? Yeah, I get why Jesse decided to peace out. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to The Last of Us. We're now into season 2, episode 7, which is the last episode I believe I read. I don't know why I thought there were 8 episodes this season, but apparently this is it. So the last episode, we had a flashback. We got to see all the events that basically transpired over the 5-year jump that we jumped into, or sorry, got to the tail end of in episode 1. We got to see how close the Joel and Ellie had become over their time together, how much they loved each other. But then, unfortunately, Ellie began to realize that things didn't quite add up with the story that Joel told her. And then she actually witnessed Joel blatantly lie to other people, including her, with, using words like, I swear and I promise. And so that's when she kind of knew that, unfortunately, there was a very good chance that Joel lied also about what happened in Salt Lake City. So she confronted him, at long last, and we got to see the tail end of the conversation that was cut off in episode 1, where she basically said, I need the truth, all of it, otherwise that's going to really be it for us. So Joel did tell her the truth, and she let him know that, she was clearly hurt and upset, but they were literally going to be on the path to moving forward. Like, that was where she was at, where, okay, I'm going to be mad at you for a while, but I think we can work through this. And so that gives us the lead into why she was even more, she would have been devastated about Joel's death regardless, but we now know kind of more the layered underlying emotional reasons as to why she was really, really distraught over that. So yeah, we ended the episode with Ellie showing up at the theater where Dina is. The last time we saw Dina, she had been shot in the leg with an arrow, and we haven't seen Tommy yet, but we know that he's there. And of course, Jesse was the one to bring Dina to safety. So I'm interested to hear what Ellie's going to say to them, if she's going to maybe pull a Joel and lie about what happened, or if she's going to just kind of come clean and let them know that she kind of went pretty dark as far as Nora was concerned. So I'm ready to jump into the episode. So let's do that. Just before I do, though, if you'd like to be in the know of when I drop episodes to anything I'm reacting to, Last of Us for now is done, but season 3 is definitely coming, and I'll be reacting to that, plus a lot of other really good stuff. So please do hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be part of the journey. And if you'd like to see an uncut version of this reaction, you can check that out on my Patreon. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Yeah, you have to break it and pull it through, unless there's no...
Can't let me die.
Yeah, I know.
You're not gonna die yet.
If I pull it, it's gonna tear an artery. I need to push it through.
Yeah, so I thought, push it through.
Dina,
You know he wouldn't hurt you on purpose,
I
right?
got you.
Right? You've known this man forever, and he's still in love with you, even though you don't feel the same.
Have some, okay?
No.
It's gonna help. Have some.
I said no.
See if he puts 2 and 2 together with that. It's kind of ambiguous, but considering we saw her drunk and high at Christmas, I don't think she's that kind of girl, Oh God, I'm sorry, girl. But at least now it's out.
Ellie, where were you?
Yeah, time elapsed, Ellie. But yeah, she ain't ready to talk about that, or possibly not with him. We all know Jesse's gonna be a little judgmental, and rightfully so in this case. About time you got back. She's nicer than most people.
Is the baby?
It didn't hit the baby.
It's okay. How do you know?
She just knows.
Too?
Yeah. The body will do everything to protect a baby before the mother many times.
So you're gonna tell me what happened?
Indeed. Are we? I'm going to tell the truth.
Does she know where Abby is?
She did.
But she only said 2 words.
Nope.
Well, and then we go.
Oh, she did talk.
She was infected. It was already setting in. I made her talk.
There we go. We need to talk about that. So it's
I
a
thought
big...
it would be harder to do.
No, not when you're angry.
But it wasn't.
When you're really, really angry, it is shocking what
It was
you're
easy.
capable of doing. That's why you're advised to walk away.
Did you kill her?
She was kind of dead anyway, but
I left her.
yeah, like she was gonna die. Again, she could have hastened it.
Yeah,
yes.
well, maybe she got what she deserved.
I knew Dina wouldn't be mad.
Maybe she didn't.
Indeed, maybe she didn't. That shouldn't be your decision to make. And I'm glad that you're questioning it, Ellie.
Joel found out.
And he wiped them out.
And he killed everyone in the hospital.
Not everyone. God, the nurses were still alive. Plus security. Because how else would they have known?
Abby's father.
But anyways, I get it. He killed enough people.
And Joel shot him in the head.
He did have a choice, but the guy was going to attack him. Thank you, to save you. It really was. And to save himself. That doctor had a scalpel and knew where to cut.
So that's why they came.
Yeah. Wasn't unjustified.
To go home.
Okay, so now she feels like it's no longer worth pursuing. But again, I've been saying for a while that Dina being pregnant does change a lot. But she is right. Like, is this going to end, right? Joel did something that was completely messed up. Abby came from revenge. It was messed up revenge, but it was just Joel. And now here's Ellie. She's taken out Nora effectively. And Nora wasn't even the person who did the thing to Joel. And again, someone she probably cared about died in that hospital. So yeah, I think Dina's starting to get the full picture that maybe this isn't as righteous as it felt before. But
It's for good luck.
oh, I thought maybe I was married
Not
now.
sure it's been working for you.
Ah!
Yeah. Go.
You're welcome. Woo, that was awkward. And no, I don't think she told him. I know what that look meant. That was like, did you no, okay. The time will come. Maybe. Dina looks like she's the kind of girl that would wait until she was literally like full term, be like, no, I'm still not pregnant.
Thank you.
Exactly.
I mean it, honestly.
Dina said, I can't die. Not, I don't want to die. I can't.
He's putting
And
two
then
and
I
two
offered her
together.
whiskey and she refused.
Okay, he's smarter than he looks.
I'm not stupid and I'm not blind. Ellie, I see the way you two look at each other.
Thank you.
And I bet she even tells you things she wouldn't tell me. Like how she's pregnant.
Boom. Jesse ain't a dummy.
Fuck. Oh shit, you were guessing?
Of course.
God.
Sorry, Ellie, he's good at this. But I mean, he pretty much figured.
I'm gonna be a father, which means I can't die. But because of you, we're stuck in a war zone. So how about we skip the apologies and just go find Tommy so I can get us and my kid the fuck out of Seattle?
He's in papa mode for real. I respect it. In fairness, Jesse, they didn't know she was pregnant when they left. Jeez.
There's more than one of her?
That's what I was saying. That's the same lady.
Get his clothes off.
Ellie, no. I know. This sucks, but no. Ellie, no. There's two of you. Come on, girl. I know. This sucks. But you're only going to succeed in getting captured or killed. And Dina's alone. Come on, girl. Or if you're going to do it smarter.
Ellie. Ellie.
What?
Dina?
They're lynching each other, ripping each other's guts out. Even the kids. I am not dying out here.
There's Dina. Respect the righteous anger, Ellie. Really, but we're not thinking smart. Hey, Costco. Wonder how much they paid for that promo.
We'll start the staggered loading.
Any word on Abby?
Oh, indeed. Is there any word on Abby?
Not since yesterday. And we still haven't found Owen.
So her entire crew just disappears tonight of all nights.
We still have Manny.
Thank
We have
you.
a lot of Manny's, don't we? Enough Owens and Mells.
He said Manny is dispensable.
You in love with her or something?
Ew.
I don't know.
I just mean that's a serious age gap, but okay.
By the time the sun comes up tomorrow, there's a very good chance you'll be dead.
Oh, thanks.
There's an even better chance I'll be dead.
Oh, well,
Who leads them?
they'll figure it out.
Secures our future.
See, the thing about being dead is you can't really worry about those things.
It was supposed to be her.
Really? So she's terrible. Noted. But maybe she left because she doesn't want to be terrible anymore. Because leading you guys pretty much is the epitome of terrible.
You and me in bad fucking weather.
Yeah. Didn't work out great last time. Let's hope we have better luck now. Oh, Sesame Street. How much did they pay for this plug? Thank goodness it was saved.
Listen, about me and her, I don't really know what to
I don't think he
say.
cares.
Yes, I love her.
But you know she doesn't love you back.
Not
Like
the way
that.
you do.
Oh. Refreshing.
Remember that group that stopped by Jackson for a few weeks on their way south to Mexico?
From Alberta?
Hey! Thanks for the shout out.
That fucking feeling.
Don't feel
You're
that
falling
with her.
for someone and they're falling right back.
Yeah.
So she asked me to go with them instead.
Maybe you should have.
And I wanted to.
But.
More than anything. Because I was taught to put other people first.
Oh, that's a dig. That's a dig, Ellie.
You're St. Jesse of Wyoming, and everyone else is a fucking asshole.
You've got it. Nailed.
I go with that girl to Mexico. Who saves your ass in Seattle?
Exactly. You would have been dead, and so would Dina. And the baby. Would that be Tommy?
Sniper. It's gotta be Tommy.
Why is Tommy sniping them? Is he that pissed? Actually, he could be that pissed.
Pack your shit. We're going up.
This is like last time. Gotta save another Miller man. Why?
The whale.
What?
She's in the fucking aquarium.
Who?
Abby, the one who killed Joel, she's in the aquarium. It's too far to swim either.
Hi, Tommy is still alive.
You don't know that's him.
Wow.
Why?
Because
'Cause-
everything you do for you.
But also, look at you, Ellie. Look what it's turning you into.
You think you're good and I'm bad?
Did he say that?
You let a kid die today, Jesse. Which is why he wasn't on the earth. You made
Because you would have. That is not a fair comparison.
like you're better than me. Or like you'd do anything differently if you were in my shoes, because you're not. And you wouldn't.
I actually think he would, but if that makes you feel better.
I really hope you make it.
Yep. And I don't blame him. You're not. If you were someone who was cool under pressure, Ellie, but that's not you, girl. You just run in, guns blazing, thinking your immunity to being bitten is going to keep you from getting shot. Homie's like, well, you know, when I'm not disemboweling people or burning them, I got to make sure that the trim stays fresh. It's so far, Ellie. And Dina is alone and wounded. Like, she's a badass, but come on. Yeah, that's a lot of boats. Go ahead and start shooting. Why would you turn the lights off? How can you see where you're going? It's pitch black out there. I am not made for sea life in any capacity. You want to brave these waters in a dinghy? Yeah, I can't wait. Jesse decided to peace out. But your 90-pound self. And if you're out here and a big wave hits you, and that cold water, Pacific is not nice, people. It's not a nice ocean. Yeah. Since you know the sea so well, growing up on land your whole life. Child. What do you do now, Ellie? Yep, you're in Scar territory. And going back means hypothermia. Yeah, you know how that goes. How would this kid know? He's never seen you before. Yeah, he said disemboweler. Why are you rushing up on my show in the middle of the night? I'm sorry, Ellie. I am so sorry you have to learn these things the hard way, but this is why you take a minute and you plan. Damn, that kid's also a psychopath. Children of the Corn. Talk about disemboweling so casually.
Leave her!
See how God saved you again despite your stupidity? Going back out on the same water that nearly drowned. Okay. All right, well, can't say that Ellie's not determined. Conveniently placed crate. Just a flashlight shining in the middle of the night. No recon. Oh. Well, I'm sure they were helping wounded people, not dissecting them or torturing them at all. This conveniently open door. Yeah, no, see, I just can't do this. My survival instincts are too strong. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Not in the dark, not in the wet, not without knowing where I'm going. Nope, not after God almost tried to kill me twice between the wave and being hanged. Like, Ellie, God, the universe, the devil, someone is trying to tell you that this is not the path.
Fuck you, Owen.
Hands up.
Remember me?
Where's Abby?
You gotta be kidding me.
Really?
I'm the one who kept you alive, right?
But did that matter to Abby, though?
You, bring me that map. You're gonna point to where Abby is. And then you're gonna do it.
Joel
You're
lesson.
gonna fucking match.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll show you.
You gonna try something. And he is bigger than you. Careful. You asked for that, bro. That was self-defense. That was self-defense. Oh, collateral. Collateral.
I only have 30 seconds. Get the fuck over here. Please, 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 please.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it out. What?
Yeah. You hit the carotid. She's done.
One incision. That's all it is.
She is so calm.
The card.
She's so calm. The weight of this revenge journey.
Which way?
Across.
Love transfers.
Across.
Transfers.
What? I don't know what that means.
Across.
Love transfers.
She's I'm sorry, she's losing blood. At this point, she's dying. Cut any way you want. Let's go. I don't think she's gonna be able to do it. And I don't blame her. That's a lot. I don't even know what the right choice is. Even in the game when I saw this, I was like, I don't know. Because, I mean, if you take, what's she going to do with it, right? And again, we don't know how far along she was. It's only in TV shows where those emergency C-sections done by a complete novice work out okay. Yeah, this weight's getting heavy, isn't it?
Let's go. Come on. It's okay. It's okay. Come on.
Yeah, assess later, Jesse. Let's go. Dina's like, every time you come back from out there, you're more traumatized looking than the last. Is this worth it, girl?
Not a good idea to move her in this weather, so pray for sunshine.
In Seattle?
Hey,
Handy.
you know, they were part of it too. They made their choices.
Well, Owen made it for both of them.
But Abby gets to live.
Are you able to make your peace with that?
Clearly not. He's like, do I want to know?
I'm gonna start packing.
He's like, maybe y'all need to talk it out because we have a long trip back.
Thank you for coming back.
Again, community.
Maybe Tommy made me.
You've known Ellie a long time, and you're a community guy.
Because you're a good person.
He's got good morals. It's true.
Yeah.
Take it.
You set the world on fire to save me.
I would.
I'm kidding.
Stand up.
Oh, Ellie. That's why you don't go running into a room. Yeah, what goes around comes around, Abby. Yeah, her.
He killed my friend.
No, I did.
Yeah, she did.
I know why you killed Joel. He did what he did to save me. I'm the one that you want.
Exactly.
I let you live,
And you thought that was going to be okay?
and you wasted it.
It's actually the audacity of Abby saying you wasted it, like she's got the right to decide that Ellie gets to do whatever because she let her. Interesting operation you got there. Sea cattle, is it? Oh, we're going back. All right. Well, the rumors that sort of saying that season 3 is going to be from Abby's side looks like it's true. It's interesting that they decided to split it up that way. But yeah, it's understandable. There's a lot to take in there. You know, The Last of Us Part 2 is a long game, so there's a lot to take in. And it's interesting they decided to go with 7 episodes. I mean, I feel like they probably could have done both in like a 13 episode season, but you know, more money with 3. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. But yeah, here we go, right? This merry-go-round of revenge continues to spin. And we had that fateful moment there with the gunshot. But let us not forget that Abby does not know that there's one other person in there. So yeah, who made the shot is the question. But anyway, yeah, here we are on this season's finale, and we have, oh goodness, a lot, you know, with Jesse. And well, let's talk about Ellie. Let's talk about Ellie coming back and, you know, having this conversation with Dina. She finally tells Dina the whole truth about what happened with Joel. I understand why she didn't want to tell her the full truth of what happened, because she knows, right? On some level, Ellie knows that it wasn't that Abby had no reason to come after Joel, right? That the death of Joel was justified. The way it was done, I will stand 10 toes down saying that that was 100% wrong. But, you know, again, if we're looking at the, you know, eye for an eye situation, then yeah, like Abby, it was very understandable that she wanted Joel gone. And considering the amount of people that died, yeah, you know, and again, we saw that Joel never tried to justify what he did per se. He never tried to say I wasn't right or I was right to do what I did. He didn't do any of that in front of Abby. He accepted the fact that, yeah, he knew why she was there and he was willing to take his punishment. He knew that that was probably the way it was going to end. I'm pretty sure that someone like Joel knew that the way he lived was probably going to end up. Because remember, even Tess said back in season 1 that the way we live, Joel, we need to do some good things because the karma we got coming to us is not pretty, right? So all that to say that, yeah, I think Joel knew at some point he was going to die by the very sword he lived by. And that's why he never really denied or said that Abby was wrong for what she was trying to do, nor did he try to beg for his life. But anyway, again, I think Ellie knew that when Dina heard what Joel had done, because I mean, you know, we heard her say last episode or the episode before that, you know, she didn't care. Like, you know, she told her Dina told her backstory of how she ended up in Jackson and the things that had happened to her family beforehand. And, you know, she said something along the lines of, you know, it wouldn't matter what my parents did to potentially, you know, bring on what happened. I still would have gone after whoever did it. But I don't think she realized the gravity of what Joel had done, right? I mean, I think if, yeah, Joel had just killed her father, then it would have been like, all right, maybe. But yeah, Joel took out a lot of lives that day. And I understand why he did it. We saw what went down. Like, it wasn't because he wanted to, but those people were all trying to stop him from leaving. They all were willing to kill him to stop him from taking Ellie and leaving, right? So, you know, was it a form of self-defense? I would say loosely, yes. But it still doesn't change the fact that a lot of people died that day, many of them that were unarmed. I mean, they kept saying everyone, but clearly that's not true, because how did they even have his name and know about everything, right? Joel did not kill everyone. He took out a lot of people, that it wasn't everyone, but that's a bit of an exaggeration. In the end, it doesn't matter, no, because in the end, it was still way too many people. But it does bother me that they keep saying everyone. I'm like, if it was everyone, you wouldn't have known what happened. None of this would be a story because you wouldn't have known what happened. But I digress. So yeah, Dina understandably is like, listen, she was already 1 foot out the door when she found out she was pregnant for very, very valid reasons. But now that she knows that this is really just a merry-go-round of more death, especially hearing what happened to Nora and hearing, I think it was the combination of, like she said, you know, Nora got infected and Ellie's like, yeah, I did a lot of bad things to her to get her to talk. It was a little too easy for me. And, you know, the combination of that with the fact that Nora wasn't even the person who did the deed directly, I think that, you know, Dina's starting to realize that this path is going to change Ellie in a way that may not be reversible. And it may not be the kind of changes that even Dina is going to be okay with at a point, right? Like right now, you know, of course, in this world, people are willing to forgive a lot for the most part, but you know, the further Ellie gets down this path, the darker she goes. It's very possible that there could be a line where even Dina's like, whoa, I'm not sure if I want someone like that in my life, right? So her saying she wants to leave and like basically telling Ellie, like, we're done. You know that like we're done here. Like I can't justify staying here anymore. And, you know, Ellie reluctantly agrees at that point. But then, of course, we see that they have to go and find Tommy because he doesn't come back. Or no, they're supposed to meet him at the rendezvous point, pardon me. And we see that on that that fateful walk that her and Jesse take, Jesse, who I really loved how perceptive he is, you know, he's someone who always sees a lot. And I think that Ellie assumes that I think even Dina kind of assumed that Jesse wasn't the brightest sometimes, but he's very observant, even though he doesn't say a lot. But anyways, he deduced that that Dina was probably pregnant. And they, of course, got Ellie to confirm. And then later when they finally have their conversation in the bookstore, you know, he kind of lets Ellie know, which Ellie should have known, like the way she apologized for the two of them being together. And I get it because, you know, him and Dina have been on and off for so long. But even when they kissed, right, Jesse was like, I don't care. Right? He was like, it's fine. Like, I figured you guys, you know, something was going on there. I don't care. But I do think it was nice that because he didn't have to, but the fact that he said to her, like, you know, I don't love Dina the way you do, right? He's like, both of them, right? Both Dina and him recognize that their relationship is more out of comfort and familiarity than it is about true love, so to speak, right? At least in the type of love that people usually want in a relationship. So yeah, he kind of effectively let Ellie, you know that she can stop feeling any type of way about their romantic connection because, you know, there was never anything to be jealous of in that regard. And obviously, if he had lived, you know, they would have had to have a good conversation about, you know, what to do with the baby and, you know, the best way to share the responsibility. But I'm sure it would have been fine because, again, Jesse is was very level-headed. But anyway, they have a conversation there and he talks about when he did find someone he finally thought he could fall in love with and why he walked away from it because he prioritizes the safety of other people over himself. And he said that's the way he was taught. And it's interesting that he said, I was taught to do that. But the reality is we can be taught to do that. But it really is, in my opinion and in my experience, it very much is a personal thing, right? People can be taught to do the right thing. It doesn't mean that they'll do it. I think Jesse is genuinely just a good guy, right? He was, like Ellie said, he's a good guy. He's someone who looks out for people he cares about. He's very protective. And yeah, he's a little pretentious. But again, I feel like that's a lot of him trying to shoulder, like he said, he was being looked at as the next Maria of Jacksonville, right? So like with everyone looking at him and kind of expecting that kind of thing from him, he probably feels like he's got to act a certain way to kind of deserve that title. But anyways, you know, he would act that way, but of course he didn't care that Dina and Ellie would clown him and out of the same breath, right? So anyway, that was a good conversation for them to have. And of course, Ellie didn't like it because she felt like Jesse was kind of doing a bit of I'm better than you. And yeah, there was an element of that. Like, I think Jesse does think he's a better person than Ellie for not choosing to take these paths or act as rashly as she does. But I don't know, maybe not a better person. I think he thinks he makes better decisions. And I have to agree with that. Like, he is more level-headed than Ellie, but that doesn't mean, I don't think he thought he was better than Ellie. I don't think that was ever the case. I mean, when they were arguing, when she was yelling in his face, he didn't say anything, but I think that's because he was just extremely frustrated with how she just drops everything to cater to whatever it is that she wants to do in the moment. But anyways, interesting conversation about the difference in viewpoint and how they feel about the idea of looking out for others over themselves. But anyway, we see that the whole situation with them going out to find Tommy does not go the way that they initially thought it would. Between the weather, between them seeing the young Scar that's being taken away and that they know what's going to happen to him, we see Ellie wants to go out and save him. But again, I don't think it's a matter of Jesse not wanting to help somebody in need. It was literally like he said, Ellie, you're not using your head. Like, there's two of us, there were 6 of them, they're armed. They don't care if we're Scars or not. They're just gonna shoot at us first. You wanted to run in headlong. You wanted to run in headlong without a plan. Like, you're probably just gonna get all of us killed in the end, right? So, Jesse is just always trying to just ask Ellie to take a beat, right? She's just, her and Joel were so similar in that way, and that they just, when they kind of get into this mode, they just don't think, they don't wait for anything. They just rush in headlong. And that's why I said, the way that Joel had Tess for the longest time to temper him, Ellie has Dina, and in this case, Jesse, right? Because otherwise she just does these crazy things that she just doesn't think through. And then, of course, you see that theme of her being very, well, I mean, let's be real. She is being selfish, right? When Jesse kind of calls her out, when she sees the Ferris wheel and realizes that that's where Abby might be, she basically forgets about the let's get Tommy. He might be pinned down by fire. Dina's alone and wounded and pregnant. No, this is about why I came. And on the one hand, I get it. She came that far. Nora already died. Like, let's make this trip worth it. But again, all Jesse was asking her to do was take a minute to just breathe and look at the bigger picture and realize that this wasn't the time to go after her, particularly when it was like the storm was clearly gathering, right? But of course, when he tries to point that out to Ellie, she loses it, and she's like, you think you're better than me. You're talking about community. My community was killed, and, I'm supposed to take that. And it's like, but Ellie, there's more people in your life, right? I mean, again, I understand that her trauma is very fresh. And I've talked about this before, that, I feel like her trauma being fresh versus Abby's is a little bit different. And she's also 19, right? Like, her frontal lobe is wide open. She is not even, like, her brain is not even done developing yet. So, but, all these things, she is very impulsive, and, she's just trying to justify her selfishness in this moment. And Jesse basically says to her, like, I'm not going with you, because right now, the way you're going, this is not smart. This is not going to end well. And you're not calm enough to listen to that. Anytime I'm trying to bring any type of logic or reason to this, you're not listening to me, and you're accusing me of being holier than thou. So, like he says, go out there, go at it yourself and see how that goes. And yeah, we saw how that went. Almost lost at sea, almost hung and disemboweled by scars, and then accidentally killed 2 people. Now, did that work out, Ellie? Did that plan tick the boxes? Or maybe if you listened to Jesse, gone and got Tommy, you could have come up with a plan, and y'all could have gone off to Abby together in a more organized fashion, where people who didn't need to die wouldn't have died, because the girl who's nameless, who is pregnant, she was ready to cooperate. We only heard a snippet of this conversation. In the game, there's a lot more to that scene, but in the long and the short of it is, she didn't want to give up Abby per se, but she wanted to cooperate for obvious reasons. She was pregnant. She would have tried to cooperate. She would have at least done something, maybe sent Elliot a certain type of way, and then bought them time to try to warn Abby. But no, Owen thought he was a badass and decided to go, vigilante. And unfortunately, that didn't end well. And again, I'm not saying that made what Ellie did right, but between what happened there and with Nora, I would say this one was definitely self-defense, right? I mean, Ellie asked them, she very much asked them, pleaded, begged them to cooperate, and was very patient. Like, if Ellie had shot one of them in the leg or something, I would have been like, okay, but she really was hoping they would just cooperate. But Owen was reaching for a gun, and I really do think he would have shot Ellie, because why wouldn't he, right? He knows that she did all that to come and find them. Yeah, like, he wasn't going to assume that she was going to talk through it, right? You already heard him. He thought she was going to kill them anyway. But anyway, yeah, we see that unfortunately, that whole thing happened. And with everything that's going on with Ellie, knowing that Dina's pregnant, seeing that another pregnant woman is dying, and the fact that she was so calm as she was passing, and she was begging Ellie to save the baby. And of course, Ellie was just not, there's no way, right? And I actually, even though it's very sad, I think it was good that they made it very realistic that, how would Ellie was in shock, right? She was completely in shock. She did not want to kill them. That was not her plan. And now this was happening, and now someone's saying, yeah, now perform complex surgery that could potentially, like, if Ellie cut too deep, she could kill the baby anyway, right? So yeah, sad as it was realistic that Ellie just froze and just didn't know what else to do, and just decided, you know what, let me just stop. Let me stop at this point. And we see that Tommy showed up, and, he immediately kind of gathered her, very much Joel moment, where he just kind of scooped her up and got her out of there. And, later on when he saw that she was clearly very shaken by it, which thank God. And same thing with when she was telling Dina, when Ellie was telling Dina about torturing Nora, I'm very happy to see that Ellie is thinking thrice about it, that she's, realizing that this doesn't feel good and that there's something very wrong with what's happening here. Because that's where we know there's still hope for coming back, even though, her running out there and being as destined to get to that Ferris wheel kind of counteracted some of that. But anyway, we see that even after all that happened and we see that she's shaken, that Tommy actually, takes the moment to say, look, Ellie, they were part of it, right? They were part of it. They played their part, and what happened. They made their choice. And I mean, like I said in the episode, Owen decided for both of them, sadly, in that moment. But it's true. Like, Owen could have cooperated, or as I said, or even done something to buy time, right? He said he would do it instead of trying to reach for a gun. He could have been like, yeah, he could have lied about the map, right? I mean, even that would have been smarter if he let Ellie get closer and then tried to get the gun at that point. But playing around with someone who's got a gun shot aimed directly at you and the pregnant girl behind you was just, was not one of Owen's smartest moments. But either way, that's just a sad situation that did not have to happen if Ellie had taken time to think and come up with a plan. Or maybe waited. You heard that they were saying they were going to find Abby. She could have gone out, followed Owen, and saw where he was going and figured out where Abby was there, right? But again, just so impulsive. Ellie is so impulsive. She's so impulsive. And again, maybe if Dina had been there with her, Dina would have been the person to hold her back and be like, nah, this is not the time. This is not the place. We can't do it like this. But hopefully Ellie's starting to understand now that she needs that community. She needs people because she just does not do well on her own. But anyway, so all of that happened, unfortunately. And then we see that, Abby came back. Obviously, when Owen didn't show up, Abby showed up, saw what happened, and she followed the trail, right? Because just like Jesse talks about how he tracked them and it wasn't all that hard, I'm sure Abby did the same thing and tracked Joel and Jesse back to where they were. And we see now that unfortunately it's resulted in we've lost Jesse. Jesse, the good guy we just established was a good guy, that if he had not gone and gotten Tommy to come get Ellie, she'd probably still be sitting on the floor of that aquarium, right? Like, Ellie, the body count for this revenge is getting crazy. And I know she never planned for this, but this is why I said very early in the season that, the path to revenge is one where, the expression is you got to dig a hole for yourself and dig a hole for the person you're trying to take down. Because if you eventually get to them, who you become and the amount of times you kill who you are, kill your spirit, kill your morality, all those things, like, you might as well jump in the grave too. The person you were dies the second that you decide to take that path. And look at Ellie now, right? 3 bodies on her hands. I mean, I'm not going to count Jesse's, because Jesse, that was just an act. That's on Abby. That's 100% on Abby. She didn't have to shoot first, but still, right? And we heard Jesse say, like, I don't want to die here. I'm going to be a dad. I want to be there for my kid. And look what happens here, right? So and then we see the confrontation finally. And at this point, Ellie, because she's already shaken from the deaths of, what's his name? God, his name just slipped out of my head, but she's already shaken by the deaths of Owen, and the other girl. So seeing Jesse, she barely has time to register that Jesse is gone. And she sees that he's about to shoot Joel, that she's about to shoot Tommy. So she doesn't want to see Tommy die, right? Tommy's literally her last link to Joel. So she comes out and she's like, look, he's not the one you want. He didn't kill your friends. I did, because I was looking for you, right? And then she's like, what Joel did was my fault. He did it to save me. I'm the one you want, so let him go. And then Abby has the audacity to say, I saved your life and you wasted it. Like, girl, that's not the way it works. You don't have the right to say that to somebody. You don't have the right to know that you created the same situation that you went through for someone else and then tell them that they're wrong for doing exactly what you did. You don't get to do that. Not when you have a gun pointed to the other person she cares about and you just killed another one like he was nothing. Sorry, Abby, it doesn't work that way. Like I said, hypocrite. Could not stand Abby in the game, still can't. Anyway, I'm sure in the next season we're going to see her side of things. And again, I know what happens in the game, but honestly, I'm one of those people where I mean, we'll see what the show does. The show's probably going to try to change a few things around to maybe make her story resonate a bit better. But yeah, in the game, let's just say in the end, yeah, I wasn't sad about anything that happened to her. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But anyway, yeah, so that's how we ended it. Basically, we heard the shot with her, saying the line to Ellie. There's a gunshot, but of course we don't see the gun go off. And I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler. Like, Ellie is literally the star of the show. So, but anyways, yeah, the point is, we know that Dina is also in the theater, but Abby is only on the main floor. I don't think she searched the place before she came in. She literally just busted in angry, very Ellie-like actually, and was just coming in quite literally guns blazing. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. There's a little bit on the WLF. We saw that Isaac was looking for Abby because he said that Abby's supposed to be the person that's going to take over the WLF. If he doesn't survive the operation, which we saw, they went to the Scar base, I'm assuming, and the village, and it looks like they did some pretty gnarly stuff there to try to wipe them out. So yeah, Abby was notably absent during that. And it looks like the girl who was pregnant was also saying that she's somewhat, it sounded like she was feeling like maybe she agreed with Abby to a degree, but also didn't. We didn't get a lot of details, obviously. But anyway, point is, Abby was MIA. And I think we're going to find a little bit more about why Isaac believes that, Abby was the perfect soldier to take his place. And why would she suddenly disappear when the peak of this battle seems to be approaching, right? So anyway, I already know, but I'm going to leave it there for now for those who want to wait and see how the show handles it. But yeah, this was, kind of a very interesting episode, a good one that's, talking about the morality of this whole revenge situation and how, like I said, how dark this path is and the way it's affecting Ellie. And again, the way she's taking all this in while still not processing the trauma that she is still actively experiencing. As I said, like, she is literally, like, she's battered, she's bruised, her lungs are barely healed. Like, she is still mentally and physically not ready. She's not even close to 100%. And she's out here, and now so much that she's been taking in, we're not even just the deaths of these crew members so far, but seeing what she's seeing with the war between the wolves and the Scars, like, that is a lot mentally to hang on to as well. This watching kids get hurt and just be, absolutely just horrible things happening. So there's just so much going on, and she's doing her best to kind of stay, okay with it all, but it's a lot, right? Ellie's been a very sheltered person. When you think about her life has been incredibly sheltered in the last, well, actually all of it, right? Because the first half she was inside of the Fedra camp, and then she was with Joel, and then you were in Jacksonville, and that was 5 years of pretty much quiet and isolation. So she's been even though she's seen some gnarly stuff, like, it's on a completely different level, right? And so it's a lot, and we're seeing that, yeah, it's seeing just the way she was in the theater at that last moment there. She's very much still processing, and I do think there's going to be a lot, when she finally gets a chance to sit down and really let it sink in. She's not going to be good. She's not going to be okay. I'm kind of happy that therapist is still in Jacksonville because she's going to need her badly. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So we're set up for season 3. We had the end of the episode going back to day 1. I don't even remember what day we're on right now for Ellie. I don't even remember what day they said she was on, but we're going back to day 1 for Abby. So my guess is we're going to get a countdown once again to when she ends up being in the theater with Ellie. And yeah, kind of figuring out what the breaking point's going to be here, because both of these girls are literally kind of at a crossroads of the same path that they've taken for very similar reasons. So yeah, good season. Overall, I think, it was great. I liked how in the last episode we got a chance to see Pedro again because, obviously he was gone after episode 1, but I think they did a good job of, balancing the show and making sure that we still got a chance to see all the rest of the characters and the other stories that were there to be told besides that bond between the two of them. I know for a lot of people who didn't know what happened, because of the game, it was very wrecking to see that happen. And, I've heard about people saying that they had parents or friends that rage quit the show, but honestly, I think this season was still good, and seeing how Ellie is kind of working through this, because she is Joel, right? She really is a mini Joel in so many ways. And, you know, Joel would not have acted much differently if this was the other way around, to be perfectly honest, outside of maybe being a little bit more cautious about his surroundings. But honestly, he was like a bull in a china shop too when he was really emotional. So yeah, I think they did a great job. I think the new characters we got to see, you know, Dina, her character, amazing. Jesse, R.I.P. Jesse, but yes, loved his character. Young Manzino, pardon me, did a great job with that character. Sad we won't be seeing him again, but yeah, unless it's in a flashback. But yeah, he did a great job. You know, all of it, and of course, please claps and snaps for our lead. She just such a good job, such a good job. And, you know, I don't know. I know that there's people who had doubts about her casting when it first was announced, but I think she's absolutely been killing it as Ellie. Like, this is not an easy role to play, you know, this balance between being a young and funny and sweet, infectious girl, and also this angry ball of fire that's, especially this season, who's so hell-bent on doing dark things. But I think she's doing that mixture of everything so perfectly while still grieving and all that kind of stuff, like her character. So yeah, I gotta say, overall, really, really good season. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love. And once again, hopefully you'll find something else in my catalog to watch if this is all that you watch from me. But otherwise, I hope to see you in the next video.